There is a podcast no one asked for. A podcast you never knew you didn't want. 3 beers in. This is the podcast.
I anticipate a deeply religious experience.
Greetings, listener, and welcome to another episode of 3 Beers In. Today on the podcast, we will be drinking Dank Sinatra by Northwest. You got me, Clint, and to my right...
this is Ross.
Cutter.
This is Tony.
And Joel's there.
Yeah, he's there. And today, we have 2 special guests.
Kevin Rourke.
David Manley.
Kevin and David are the brewers at North by Northwest, if I'm correct on that.
Yeah, correct. Right.
So, yeah, let's start off with what inspired Dank Sinatra.
First of all, the inspiration from the beer came from the name. Normally, we kind of do it the other way. We usually brew a beer, and then the hardest part is coming up with a good name that's not already taken, that's clever, that's going to catch people's attention. This one started out the opposite way. David had the name Dank Sinatra.
Nice.
Yeah.
I grew up in New York City, and I just
New York City.
Yeah, so had to kind of pay a little homage to my home state, and I always just thought it would be a really funny name, and we always bounce names back and forth, and he was like, "Hey, let's make an IPA. What would you want to do?" I said, "Let's make it like the dankest, hazy New York style IPA we could do." Because, New Yorkers and New England, still kind of have a little beef. But I would say that wanted to make a New York style, and we just built that whole recipe around the name and took some of the dankest hops possible, that's for sure. And,
nice.
Stuffed it all in there. But
hazy Northeastern IPA. Yeah. I like it.
All right, let's try first sips and
there we go.
See what we think.
Oh, it's so dank on the nose.
So dank.
That's good stuff. Mm-hmm. I love the haziness.
Over there, I thought we were drinking orange juice.
It does kind of look like
it. It looks like a shitty orange juice. Not to say that
that's
the
like
beer.
What would it be, like a Sunny D, where it's like
this
not
is
quite orange.
Tang.
Maybe.
Is that 2 podcasts where we mentioned Tang in a row?
Yes,
yes,
2 podcasts
it is.
where we mentioned Tang. So, yeah, definitely picking up the bitterness of the hops on the back end.
It's your favorite, right?
Y'all know my opinion.
So about how many IBUs would you say this is?
We're not really sure. We haven't had it tested. And, IBU calculators don't really work very well with all whirlpool and dry hops. But, it does have some kind of lingering bitterness to it. And we found that kind of fades a little bit as time goes by. So we purposely carbonated this about a week ahead of time of the release.
Okay.
So I think it will mellow out a little bit, but I would guess, I don't know, what would you think?
So the last batch, we strictly used cryo hops in the dry hopping, and that is just a really intense, cryogenically, extracted hop. So it comes off with such high alpha acids, it will be a little abrasive initially, but that will fade. So we found that the first batch, when we first put it on, it was like, whoa, that's really, really intense. And about 2 to 3 weeks in, it really mellowed out, kind of rounded out, and it just had this really bright tropical fruit character to it.
Mm-hmm.
This one, we actually decided to tweak the recipe a little bit to bring out a little bit more of a dank flavor. Yeah. The first one, it was just all cryo hops.
Right.
It just was a little too tropical, in our opinion, so we upped the recipe.
You're going to add juice into the release one, right? So is that going to help cut the bitterness a little bit?
Yeah, the cask will have watermelon juice in it, along with watermelon flavored CBD oil.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but you brought out blueberry as well. Was that an idea you had early on to do blueberry?
Well, these 2 were samples that were given to us by our partner in this, SunUp CBD.
Okay.
And they're kind of a new company, so right now they've only got a couple of flavors, and these were their original 2 flavors that they came out with. And I originally thought that blueberry it sounded good in my head, and after trying and
a blueberry IPA was not.
I think the watermelon just worked a little better.
And, with those like tropical flavors.
Yeah,
sort
exactly.
of. Yeah. Okay.
I could see that. I could see that very well.
Yeah.
And had you guys used CBD oil before?
I personally had not. I've heard of it. I Actually, I had seen like honey sticks in some
like a swizzle stick almost,
kind of like a straw or something, and it was a small dose of CBD. I think I tried that one time, but didn't really know it was such a big industry. We were kind of bouncing around the idea when we first were like, oh, Dank Sinatra, let's do a 420 release. It'd be funny if we could add something like weed related to the beer, and we ended up finding that terpenes, which a lot of companies up in Colorado and California are now using in like cooking products and all of that, that is just the flavor of marijuana, So
okay.
We were trying to add that to the beer, but then we found that's probably illegal. It's not really cool in Texas yet.
A lot of gray area. It's like don't want to.
Exactly.
But we found this CBD is it's all hemp. It's 100% legal. It's like really it's not it doesn't even have any of the psychoactive.
So no THC or anything like that.
Yeah, but it is relaxing. We were playing around with it one day and just kind of testing it and noticed.
Well, you got to test it.
Yeah, we had to do some drops. It's a quality control testing and all that. And, we found that we had a very happy demeanor after trying it. So maybe that was the CBD, but or just drinking the beer.
Enjoyable to drink. You were trying it in the beer, so.
Little from column A, little from column B.
I think this study needed more scientific control, like a test group.
True. Or just more testing. That would be.
Did you do a comparison? Did you?
I think we were mostly focusing on flavor, trying to.
That was one of the questions with our podcast being 3 beers in. If you had 3 beers worth of CBD oil, would that be enough to get you any sort of? Because I've never taken a CBD oil before, but I have friends that like swear by it, especially people that have had like back injuries or difficulty sleeping, and they're like, dude, if you either rub it in your muscles or you take it under your tongue.
There's lotions and there's I know somebody at work that does like a few drops every morning for anxiety.
Really. Exactly. And I think I read somewhere that like CVS is going to start carrying it. So it's normalized. Like you said, it's legal. So
I was doing a little bit
illegal. I think is the.
Well, but I don't think there's a differentiation.
There's a difference between not illegal and legal.
Well, with the difference, because to me those are the exact same thing.
It's that gray area.
Again, with the gray area.
I think he's talking more ethical, maybe.
So I was doing some.
It's becoming more common
research on just CBD oil in general, and it has all these use cases that they've talked about being good for arthritis, being good just for relaxing and all that. But apparently, one of the only things that they being, I think it was the Mayo Clinic or something like that, was saying that the only thing that it's really scientifically proven for is epilepsy. It actually works, but that also coincides with a company that released an epileptic pharmaceutical CBD oil.
You're saying it was a biased study, maybe, or
when big corporations start getting involved, and then the science is like, oh yeah, this works for this.
This one thing.
I'm always a little skeptical. It's like, oh, there's not enough scientific
anytime
research.
Somebody's going to be making money off of this and they release a study. Like if North by Northwest released a study that said beer is good for you. I mean, I'd believe it, but
it reinforces your stereotype.
You guys need to release a study.
I had me a beer, exactly.
It is good. They said it made it happy and that it brings people together. So in a way...
Yeah,
I'm already feeling good.
The extrinsic,
it works, guys. It works.
So you're going to be serving this with a watermelon Sour Patch garnish, right?
Correct.
Did we already want to dive into the Sour Patch and
we could
try it with the?
We could also, if you want, we could try the different flavors of the CBD oil.
Okay, cool.
Sure. I think obviously the watermelon flavor would go with the watermelon Sour Patch.
Right. How much would you recommend for a full beer? How many drops what's your ratio going to be in the cask on that?
We did it pretty light just because we didn't want to go overboard,
right?
And I do think that the CBD oil kind of amplifies a little bit of the hop bitterness.
Oh yeah.
So we kind of gauged it on that. I think we only did a couple of drops per pint.
Yeah, it would have been probably about 2 drops per pint.
Okay.
Okay.
That works.
So I would try that if you want to get the idea of what the cask is going to be like. So just to be clear, the CBD version of this is going to be a cask conditioned
right
cask that we're going to release on 420.
Now, and when you're adding in the CBD, is that early in the process, or is that like right before it's ready to serve?
Pretty much right before it's ready to serve. So whenever we do a cask, you take the finished beer before it's been carbonated, and you just fill a small, in this case, it was a 5-gallon sealable keg, for lack of better terms. And we fill that up, and typically we put in hops or fruit or something like this. But in this case, we did a little experiment. We did the watermelon juice and the watermelon flavored CBD oil. And then you add in a little bit of freshly fermenting beer, like 1 or 2 days old, where it's still really going. And that primes it. It's giving it the sugar and a little extra boost of yeast. And then you seal it up, completely airtight, and allow it to just kind of force carbonate itself.
Oh, nice.
And so we give it about a week at room temperature to naturally carbonate. And then we'll chill it down. And then when it comes time to tap it, we just bring it straight out on the bar, tap it with a big hammer and a gravity tap, and pour it straight into pints from there.
So have you ever sprayed a whole bunch of beer all around? Somebody trying to grab it, pound that tap in?
It is a very imprecise science sometimes. You can add.
You got to do it really fast.
You can add a little bit too much priming sugar or yeast, or if you're in the case of fruit, sometimes that adds extra fermentables. So we've had a couple that have sprayed us and the bar, and usually not customers, but
that's probably about 6 months ago when we were doing a peach wheat.
Oh man!
And my pantry was covered in peaches.
Yeah.
After we added the peaches in, that re-fermentation just kicked in.
We thought we had enough space in the top.
I mean, it was
nope, we did not.
On the walls, all over the place.
Did it clog the airlock and then build up pressure?
It pushed it out. It blew it out.
I think that's probably what happened. Is like all the peaches were sitting on top. That pressure started pushing up.
Right.
The peaches were just compacted in, and then finally
couldn't let any CO2 out. Yeah,
popped out.
Right.
Blown to peaches.
Blown to peaches.
Patent pending.
There you go. Patent pending.
So I would assume that the reason that the CBD oil amplifies the hop bitterness is because hops are part of that cannabis family. Is that true? Or
Yeah, that is the truth.
yeah, I was gonna say it's like that. It makes sense as soon as I drop the oil in there.
They're cousins.
Did you drop the oil in already?
Yeah.
We went blueberry.
I'm gonna start with watermelon.
On the table.
One dose is actually one whole little dropper. The full thing,
right?
That's too much.
The flavor is pretty intense.
But we're mixing it with
So I got a lot. I got a lot. I shouldn't say a lot of the blueberry on this one, but I do notice a difference
with the 2 drops.
2 drops, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I do.
It is very intense though.
I do like the Sour Patch Kids with this. I haven't put any drops in, but the Sour Patch Kids
I'm gonna
do work.
I'm just gonna drop it in.
Yeah, mine is at the bottom of mine.
Yeah.
But
Did you swirl it around or shake it or anything when you guys put the?
I swirled mine a bit.
Yeah,
but,
it looks like you need to kind of stir it. It is kind of an
use my
oil-based.
finger, yeah.
right. And it is oil based. Did you have any problems incorporating that? I mean, obviously you haven't.
Oil and water don't usually
Right.
good.
Well, oil and beer, it's not really good.
Yeah.
You try to keep all oils out, right?
True, and we haven't really been able to
Gauge it
gauge
really.
it because we haven't
it's
tapped
in
the
the
cask yet.
cask.
So we'll see on 420. But yeah, I would think that it might knock down the head retention a little bit.
Yeah.
So that was another reason why we kind of wanted to go a little conservative on.
All right.
On the
Just add a whole bunch of Carafoam.
Yeah.
Also, who knows? We did add quite a bit of that juice as well, the watermelon.
Yeah,
fresh
like
juice. So
like
that,
straight
that
watermelon
might be
juice.
fermentable as
Now,
well,
is that like
so,
a puree or?
We found like an all organic
Gotcha.
watermelon juice. Just tried to go, healthy, but fermentable.
right. Healthy beer.
Yeah. Healthy.
That's what everybody wants.
Healthy CBD beer.
There you go.
North by Northwest. Yeah. It's healthy.
I'm already feeling relaxed.
Yeah, just with those 2 drops, you can taste the difference.
Yeah.
So y'all
It is a bit harsher. Maybe.
Maybe
I'm just imagining it.
It does bring out. I think it brings out that bitterness. It's almost you almost don't taste it. You more perceive it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Which is another reason why we like the idea of drop one of those Sour Patch.
Oh yeah,
watermelon
because the
candies in there, 'cause
sweetness
it kind of sweetens it up a little bit. So you might try that.
Yeah.
So to be clear, what we're going to do on 420 with the CBD based cask is we're going to serve it with a little garnish of a watermelon Sour Patch Kid on the edge of the glass, like it's a iced tea or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Just drop it right
Joel
in.
went all in. He was
Look at the carbonation.
That's
cool.
So I saw Joel like, I'm gonna put it on the edge. He's
Yeah.
like, no.
plunk.
You saw the exact fuck it moment.
There you go. That's what'll take back the carbonation.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
I really
cool.
like it with the CBD oil.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if it's because I ate a Sour Patch Kid or if I'm just perceiving it differently than y'all, but like with the CBD oil, I actually find it's cutting the bitterness for me.
That's where I'm at too. Yeah.
So one of the things we always talk about on the podcast is we each have different flavor profiles. Some of us really do not like IPAs, don't gravitate towards it. I'd say like Clint and I. But it's interesting because we have so many different perspectives. Like, I'm not sure if you guys have a specific profile. Like, if you were grabbing a beer at the end of a shift, you're going straight for an amber or straight for a pale ale, straight for an IPA. Do you guys have any sort of go-tos?
I'd say my typical go-to is either like a nice, crisp German-style Pilsner or
German style, not that Czech style stuff.
I do like Czech Pilsner.
Get the hell out of here.
But either that or just something that's hoppy, flavorful, but not high gravity.
Yeah,
right.
I like
Crushable.
Yeah,
something
exactly.
that you can drink like every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think this is a pretty good definition of that.
Yeah.
It's only 6.2 ABV,
Okay. Yeah. So it's not crazy out there. Yeah.
And David?
Yeah, I'm gonna go just all hops.
I was gonna
All
guess
hop
like
all day.
I always, there's just so many great hop varietals out there. And
Oh, yeah.
mix and match them. And I think how the IPA has evolved is really awesome in the last 10 years, 5 years.
yeah.
It's amazing how less bitter they've become and more flavorful.
in the last
yeah.
2 or 3 years, like it's evolved. Like just, I don't think you can just call things IPA anymore. It's got just different styles. There's the new Brute IPA, the hazy, like that's come up in the last few years too.
And you can't go wrong with just a nice old school West Coast IPA.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we were talking about
Super
that with
piney,
Oh, no.
super
with the
heavy.
I think you can go very wrong.
You're wearing the Zombie Dragon T-shirt.
Yeah. This is another one of our beers. It's probably our most successful beer right now. That's
pretty
good.
especially with what today is.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So we were debating whether or not we bring it up on the podcast, but we're
Here we
we're
go.
all big fans.
No, we're not.
of,
Don't even.
So, but it's interesting though because the first time that we covered North by Northwest, there was no Zombie Dragon on the show.
Oh.
So it wasn't something that we like brought up because we
Oh, it was
didn't know
already out.
about
It
it.
was already out.
No, on the show it hadn't happened.
Oh, I thought it had.
It was known.
No, that was pretty recent.
Yeah,
I
not on the
think
show.
I
Well,
could be
Let's
wrong.
just say it wasn't.
Okay, let's say it wasn't.
Tony
But
wants to
now,
say it wasn't.
I mean, it's very pressing. Like, what's going to happen with the zombie dragon?
Yeah.
He's going to kill at least one of the other dragons. That's what's going to happen.
I don't know what y'all are talking about.
There will be one
Exactly.
there will be one dragon standing at the end of the series.
On the Iron Throne.
Yeah, on the Iron Throne.
The dragon wins it. Yeah.
Cersei,
right.
Cersei will be on top of it, according to Tony.
Oh, yeah. You know how many people I piss off by saying that?
Is that why you say
Yeah.
it, or you actually think that's going to happen?
Little above.
Why do people still talk to you?
I know. That's what my wife says. No. But it's that idea of, what's going to be the most entertaining for the show?
Yeah.
And, a zombie dragon is an amazing idea.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that came from anything specifically.
It
but
did. Well, it came right after that episode aired.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
we had come out with the beer.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
going to be our 18th anniversary beer, and it, we had no name for it. We were kicking around some ideas, and at the time, my assistant and I were both really into the Game of Thrones.
Right.
We had discussed a couple of the fan theories, and one of the fan theories was that one of the dragons would be taken down by the White
Oh, yeah.
Walkers.
Yeah.
So the day after that episode aired, he walked in, and I was like, "Dude, did you see it last night? Zombie dragon." And then that was just all of a sudden, it was like a light bulb went off, and we had to submit the name that day for the Texas Craft Brewers Festival.
Right.
So I was just like, well, fuck it, let's just call it Zombie Dragon.
Yeah.
And
But
it's stuck.
can we all agree that Jon Snow just made a horrible decision?
Which part?
Yeah, which one?
The incest or?
Well,
have to be
I
more
wasn't
specific,
going
Ross.
that far, but just taking those guys into the zombie infested
That's
area.
the bad decision.
Well, they'll get slaughtered.
So many people died and joined the other side.
That's true.
Anyway.
What I was going to say though is like the Zombie Dragon was like kind of the first foray into like the East Coast IPA. Like this is taking a step further is what I was alluding to.
Oh yeah,
I remember talking to Davis like he was like we wanted to do like an East Coast hazy style.
Yeah, did you
IPA,
use a different yeast on this? Because he was saying that's why you called the Zombie Dragon an East Coast, because with your normal
juicy
house
and-
yeast, it flocculated out.
It didn't come out hazy, is what,
True.
is what you're
Right.
saying. Yeah.
So yeah, we used a different yeast strain on this one.
Okay.
Used the London Fog.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Cool. That haze will stay there.
It's very
London
foggy.
Fog, yeah. I was gonna say.
We also
It's a good name for a yeast,
upped
too.
the grain bill a little bit as well.
Okay.
A little less, base malt to flaked adjuncts. Flaked oats, flaked wheat. So up that and all those proteins from the flaked.
Gotcha.
That'll really add.
That'll add to that haziness too. Yeah.
All right.
Well, I can definitely admit that I'm wrong on the Zombie Dragon.
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
Good call, Tony. Good call.
Yeah.
I was
You got
trying
that on
to
tape.
give you like some slack to like get out. But
Yeah.
you
You're
just
like,
wanted to
I
hang
think
yourself
what you
with it.
mean is, like, nope, I'm going to double down on that.
Yeah. So we were talking about hops the whole time. What hops did you use in the Dank Sinatra?
This one uses Citra, Simcoe, and Cryo Mosaic, Cryo Columbus.
All right.
In the first round we did, like David was saying before, it was great. The only critique we had was it wasn't dank enough.
Yeah.
Right.
So we kind of
Can we go danker?
Yeah. So we tried to dank it up a little more. We subbed in a little bit of the Cryo Mosaic for some Simcoe in the dry hop. So I think that gave it a little more of a dank characteristic.
Okay.
But
Those mosaic hops are super, super heavy.
Oh, I love that hop. It's hard to go wrong using it.
Well, I'm not a fan.
No?
But it's how you use it, really, that I've found. A lot of people put it in really early, and it gets way too bitter for me. But if you dry hop with it, it's just beautiful. You get all the tropical, the mango, and even the bubble gum at times, and it's just amazing.
We consider it the Band-Aid hop.
It fixes.
You honestly make a pale ale, a Belgian, and it's kind of tasting weird. Just dry hop it with some mosaic.
There you go.
Honestly, it's such a strong hop, but has such beautiful characteristics.
Yeah.
Some people on the podcast have called it the hipster hop.
Some people have.
Yeah.
We won't name any names.
Tony. All right.
I'm ready for.
I don't know about everybody else.
First
but
impressions. We haven't got to it.
very
so.
dank.
I bit into a Sour Patch Kid while I drank.
The one at the
drank
bottom of the glass really absorbs
Yes.
some of that beer.
Ooh,
and
looking
it's
for
really
that.
good.
it. The sweet and dank.
Yeah,
It's like really
nice
paired well.
compliment to
Yeah,
each other.
exactly.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I would like this.
Dank is not the word I wanted to use, but I couldn't think of the word.
One of my favorite North by Northwest beers was the Zombie Dragon on mango.
Matt
If
brought
this
it up,
was
yeah.
fruited, that would be amazing.
The mango zombies actually become kind of a house staple around here, so we keep that on tap.
Oh, nice.
And there's something about that. I think the mosaic hop that just plays really.
It
well
really
with the mango.
brings out. It cuts like all bitterness, and it's just fruit and IPA, and it just it's amazing.
We were definitely kicking around some ideas on doing a fruited version of this.
Yeah.
I think this is paired with.
It would work with almost anything.
So the first batch, we actually did a cast of the Dank Sinatra with mango and papaya.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
It turned out fantastic. It dried out a little bit from the
Yeah.
mango
Yeah.
juice while it fermented, but the papaya kind of came out in it as well.
Or you.
I feel like this beer would complement a bunch of different fruits like that.
Absolutely. I,
mean,
think you
especially-
prove the concept with watermelon.
Yeah.
And you could just say okay, what do we have? I'm sure all of them would taste
Guava.
amazing.
I think guava would add to the dankness.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, we were thinking
Yeah.
of POG, which is pineapple orange guava.
Okay. Oh wow. Yeah.
Apparently, that's a big thing in Hawaii. They drink a lot of POG juice.
Damn.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
I want it now.
So how long have you guys been brewing?
I started homebrewing in college in my apartment, and that was probably 20 years ago. But I've been professionally.
I wouldn't have guessed anything past 3 years.
Whatever. I started professionally brewing about 10 years ago, and have been doing that ever since. Dave, what about you?
So I started home brewing about 7 years ago now, and ended up getting my first job in a brewery about 5.5 years ago, and then worked on a packaging line. First off, building boxes.
Oh yeah,
and all that. Worked my way up, and so yeah. Now, actually, Kevin and I kind of put our heads together and been making some cool beers. So
nice.
Going on about 6-7 years now.
How long have you guys been at North by Northwest?
I've been here since 2008.
Okay.
So 11 years.
Wow.
That was an interesting observation that Joel made, like that we saw when the crash of 2008 happened, a lot of breweries really kicked it up a notch. Like you had so much like warehouse space in this area particularly.
I think it was really 2010 is when locally went,
10, 11.
There was basically like 2 breweries before 2010.
So back in 2010, 2011, I remember you guys had a big push then about trying to get packaging and being able to sell beer to go and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We try to bring every single episode back to the craft beer laws and the lobbying. Just because of how terrible it is.
Antiquated.
It's very interesting in Texas, the beer laws. I was up in New York for my whole time I've been working in breweries. And coming down here, I moved here about 1.5 years ago. Been working here since September, and just it makes no sense. A lot of things, the terms beer, ale.
Oh yeah, and without that, that's just crazy. Why would you even have this law that you can't say this is beer? It's ridiculous. And some of the laws are really ridiculous.
I work in the retail side of the industry, and one of the guys I work with is being promoted. He had to go up and do training up in Connecticut, and they have their own set of weird beer and liquor laws up there.
When I think of the Northeast, I think of like more progressive when it comes to laws like that. Like I'm surprised that they would have the same, or not the same, but like their own similar set of problems.
Yeah, New York had a huge boom while I was out there. When I moved there, got into the industry in 2012, there were only about 100 breweries in New York State, and by the time I left about 1.5 years ago, there were over 400. So just a huge boom, and the government really kind of helped that. They were pushing hop farming. They wanted to revitalize that industry in New York. They were giving money to start up small businesses. That was a whole New York State campaign out there, and so it really built this whole industry. And I was out in the Buffalo area. And that whole city
West New York
blown up. Yeah, Western New York. It's a nice area, and their beer scene. It's just it went from everybody like Labatt Blue to
Big Ditch.
Now there's Big Ditch, Community Beer Works, Ellicottville Brewing. Yeah. That's where I started at. And, just really awesome beers being made up there. And you could see it just develop a whole community and all that. And I came down here in Austin, and same story. I had no idea about any beers, breweries in Austin, really, before I came down here. And there's how many now? I have no idea.
I know. Well, we all moved here like 2008, 2009, and since then there's been like we keep finding
2003.
We keep finding more and more. Yeah,
but you're right; it's the same kind of explosive growth in the craft brewing industry. Someone, who was it? Jeff that just told us like a number to it. Like
I think he did.
Like back in 2000.
He was talking about
something like that.
There were only like a handful.
There were like a handful,
like
and
3
now
or
there's
4
over 400 in the state. And it's like,
but it's still even not per capita. It's still not like the most of any state.
Well, and it's
really
interesting.
I think Montana has one of the most.
Really?
No, seriously, per capita
population.
Yeah.
They count cows and stuff. And
no, if they did, it probably would be.
Cows are eating malted food.
That's what you do with your spent grain, right?
That's exactly what we do with it.
Yeah.
Give it to the local farms and stuff?
We have a cow farmer come by, and he was explaining he has 3,000 cows on his farm, but what we give him is just a snack. Like hundreds of pounds. They go through it in a couple hours.
Right.
So.
He really needs somebody like Live Oak or
big
Real
production.
Ale. So, somebody big where he can get a full semi-full to feed all his cattle.
So you guys can 3 beers.
Correct. Northern Light, Red Zeppelin, and Zombie Dragon.
Right.
Have you guys
all great?
Have you guys thought about doing more like canning as far as like seasonal stuff or?
Yeah, Davis definitely wants to do a 4th brand, and we're still kind of kicking around ideas.
Right.
For a while, it was going to be a West Coast IPA.
Okay.
Then the Brute thing came along. It was going to be that for a while, and then that sort of fizzled out. And then actually,
I feel like that Brute IPA is really marketable towards the end of the year, and then the first part of the year, and then
In
after
place
that,
of
it's like,
champagne.
Yeah. Do you not like champagne, but you still want to drink a fizzy drink?
There you go.
It's like we had a bad one over at Brutorium.
Body spray?
I think. Yeah.
Oh no, Brutorium. Yeah, they had their own. It wasn't the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, better than body spray, I think.
Yeah.
I think a lot, it was such a new style that all the breweries wanted to try it out. And everybody pushed one out real quick. And I think
needs some tweaking.
It's a style that you need to play around with and try different hop varieties and try different, dryness levels. And I think the fact that everybody put theirs all out on the market at once, it kind of overwhelmed the consumer and turned them off a little bit.
It's very tough to balance all of that hop, oils, all of that. Even if it's not an IBU, there is perceived bitterness. That's a component in any beer. And if you don't have any malt backbone, you're really good at just accentuating that off flavor that a lot of people, were turned off by West Coast IPAs because it's bitter. That's a whole thing. So it just
drinking a pine tree here.
Speaking my language over there, David.
Yeah, that's why I love this. Dank Sinatra New England style, because when it mellows out, it just has a nice rounded characteristic coming straight off the tank.
I feel like East Coast styles lend themselves more to the fruit and being like more versatile, I'd say, than West Coast. It's like if you love that pine tree flavor, if you love the big, bold, like in your face IPA, resinous IPAs, West Coast is your thing. But if you liked more versatility, almost, I feel like East Coast IPAs are much more versatile.
Yeah. More drinkable too. I mean, I could easily see, sitting back with, 3 or 4 pints of something like this.
Yes, multiples.
It's a little hard to do that with a big 7%, 100 IBU West Coast IPA.
Absolutely.
We have a new pale ale right now called Dude, Where's My Scooter?
Oh, that's awesome.
In a pile being set on fire.
It is only about 5.5%, but just super hazy. We used that same London Fog yeast in that, and just switched up the hop profile a bit. Pretty much the same style how we did it, but it so drinkable. It is amazing how crushable it is when it's hot out. I've been barbecuing since it's been a little bit nicer out.
Oh yeah,
they go down very, very fast, and it's only 5%. So compared to that, typical 8% New England hazy, or you can have a few of them without getting obliterated.
We've had a few beers on certain episodes where it's all like we got about 2 beers in, say this is really, really drinkable.
Yeah.
And we look at it, it's like this is almost 7%. This is too drinkable. This is not good. But 4 or 5%, those are pretty sessionable. It's all you can drink them fairly quickly. And it's like I tried the blueberry the first time around.
Yeah,
I tried the watermelon the second time. I think the watermelon lends. I agree. The watermelon definitely lends itself to the flavor profile a little bit more.
Yeah, I kind of wish there were some more. I'm sure there will be more options as this company SunUp grows. But I agree. I think the watermelon just had a nice fruity character that lended itself with the
Whenever I think of watermelon, it's got flavor. But it's not like overwhelming like blueberry can be.
Right, yeah.
So, and I think that's what I like about it more. But it also pairs just very well with the, it's just juicy.
So is SunUp from Texas locally?
Yeah, they're South Lamar, I think.
Yeah, they're in Austin.
Oh, wow, okay.
They're a local company. So they're going to be here on 420, actually.
Oh, nice.
They're going to set up a little table and be sampling out some of their products and answering questions. So
cool. Can I buy their stuff online?
We should come by and hand out cassettes of our...
Here's our mixtape.
I Am Brute. We can do that. I Am Brute.
Well, you saw that though for the soundtrack for what is it? Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh yeah.
They're bringing cassettes.
They had cassettes.
Yeah,
and it's like, but it had the code for like the digital download.
Yeah, of course.
But it was just like
Yeah.
cassette, and it's like, how would you even play that?
I have two cassette players. I can play it.
You have two cassette players.
Well, they're my parents in storage.
You
but-
hipster fuck. You hipster
I only
fuck.
listen to the fidelity of a cassette.
I have a Sony, and then I have that one that they use at Home Alone.
How many 8-track players you got, Joel?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I would agree with Cutter. So I did the opposite of him. I did watermelon first, and then the blueberry. Watermelon blows it out of the water.
Yeah, I didn't. I guess I didn't swirl mine enough. So I had a bunch of the watermelon at the bottom.
Yeah,
but it was really good. Yeah.
And I think it's just the watermelon CBD with the watermelon candy.
Oh man,
it like doubles up, and it is great with it. I think the blueberry flavor with the watermelon candy is probably where I messed up. It's
little
just
contrasting.
Yeah.
No, I had the blueberry and I tried it with the watermelon candy. It paired very well, but personal preference.
Just a little bit better. You like it a little bit better. Right?
I do like it a little bit better with the candy, with the blueberry, but the watermelon double up. It's still better.
I like the beer by itself, but I would say if I was doing the pairing, watermelon for me, and
so you guys said the first batch wasn't dank enough. Did you make any test batches that were too dank?
No, I mean, we typically don't do like small test runs.
Yeah.
Typically we'll do a full 12-barrel batch.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so that was the first batch that we did was back in January, and it turned out great. I mean, it was very, very tasty. It just, for the name Dank Sinatra, it wasn't quite dank enough.
Right.
So
I got you.
we made a slight tweak.
I feel like there's some perks to having like a brew pub.
Oh, totally.
Attached.
Yeah.
It's like you can brew test batches and you have a easy test market.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, that's new. I'll try that. So you guys,
Nobody's
I'm sure
buying
you have
this
regulars
one.
and everything. Especially in this area.
Yeah, we listen to the feedback from our regulars and from untapped drinkers, and we'll kind of base judgments on that, on what we want to do as far as tweaking any recipe, if we do tweak it at all.
I don't know why, but I never thought of the breweries like actually reading the Untapped, because we'll leave our reviews and check in places, but actually seeing it be actionable, I just never thought about it.
We're so small that we at least like to see what you all are talking about. What we're getting feedback on, like, was that beer good? And it's also good to see, because you can see people are seeing off flavors in your beer. And taking
definitely.
pictures like, oh, that's wrong, so let's contact that business, see what's up,
Why is it purple?
It's a beet beer.
Yeah, or if you see that
unfiltered,
there's giant bubbles on the side of a glass that is at your bar.
Oh
you
yeah,
go,
it's
hey,
like,
bartenders,
you got to clean those glasses.
a little bit. Come on, man.
Yeah.
This is actually very drinkable for me too. So
would you say crushable?
I would not say crushable. It's drinkable.
Drinkable.
I'm speaking to
That's
all
what
the
we're
people
going for, right?
who have
he tolerates it.
Baby palate.
Baby palate.
Hashtag
sure.
baby palate.
Hashtag baby palate.
Hashtag baby blue.
Yeah, I only like things that are sour and sweet. No. But yeah, it works really well. The CBD oil, like I said, I find that it actually cuts away from the bitterness a little bit, and then add in the Sour Patch Kid, and it makes it totally drinkable. So even people who are bitter averse, I think, should give this a shot.
I would almost say that you could take some of the like sour sugar or whatever the hell, I don't even know.
Oh, the candy.
You could almost
sugar.
rim, you could almost rim the glass.
Sugar. Crush
That's
up.
an interesting idea.
That might be a bit too
I don't know
much.
that I've seen a beer with a sugar rim.
No.
Yeah.
Well, we are kind of going
like
all
Blue
out
Moon,
on the
maybe.
stoner theme for 420. So
yeah.
So the chef wants to do like pizza rolls
man.
and like little brownies with actual like Hershey's chocolate candies baked into them. We're going to call them
loving it.
The Robert Brownie Jr.
A Skittles is not a sprinkle.
A Mounds Bar is not a sprinkle. A Twizzler is not a sprinkle. A Jolly Rancher is not a sprinkle, sir. Perhaps in Shangri-La they are, but not here.
Anyway.
So it's 420 Saturday?
Have them take the watermelon Sour Patch Kids and just blend them up.
Put them on everything.
Yeah. Just salt the rim.
You can just make a puree or whatever they call it.
Puree, yeah.
Puree, yeah.
There you go. Just
What's it
dunk
called?
the glass.
Is that a grinder? That thing that's like the circle thing?
Yeah, herb grinder.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yeah. Is it a grinder? Like Tony's
I mean,
like,
I was just saying.
I don't know what.
It's been a couple years.
Like Tony hasn't been on Grinder.
Point Ross.
I just see what all the kids are into these days. Oh my god!
You don't want to know what they're into.
You okay, Kevin? I think Kevin almost just lost his beer on that one.
I almost spit my beer through my
So did you have any thoughts of canning this one?
Yeah,
because
actually,
when we were at the Spring Bach Festival here, Davis was saying he thought, you do a limited can run of this and then maybe in the future can it more.
Yeah, that's another thing I forgot to mention is on 420 we're going to do a limited can run of this. We're going to take about 3 kegs of it over to American Canning and get them to can some 16 ounce.
Mm-hmm. 6.
So we'll do a 4-pack of 16 ounce cans, and we've got the label for them.
Awesome.
And everything. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, we've seen the artwork. It does look pretty cool.
Yeah, so we'll probably have, I'm guessing that'll, I don't know, be what?
60 to 100 cases.
So limited run.
Yeah, I think it's 60 to 100 4-packs.
Yeah, 4-packs.
So listeners, you better get here fast because
so we'll do a 4-pack for $20, 420.
Okay.
Seemed like a pretty obvious price.
Yeah.
But yeah, Davis is thinking about doing this one for our 4th can label.
Yeah.
But the problem with it is the Zombie Dragon is an expensive beer to make already.
Right.
This one
the
is going to be this one's more expensive than Zombie Dragon. So I think we'd have to price it appropriately or do it in a 4-pack 16 ounce format.
Yeah, if you're doing 16 ounce 4-pack.
But you can always do a limited run around this time of year.
Oh yeah,
that's
justify it. Yeah,
exactly. And I mean, it's honestly, so we're using the cryo hops, which they are ridiculously priced. It's essentially, 2 hop, the price of 2 hops in one, kind of deal. And so they're very limited, exclusive to get.
But the freezing makes them so fresh.
I know. So what happens is they just extract all of that awesome lupulin out of it.
Yeah, and you don't get any of the hop matter, right?
Yeah, hop matter. So it's so a typical hop, they're alpha acid. So Mosaic would be probably 12 to 16% alpha acids or something like that. A cryo Mosaic is 27 to 30. Wow. So it's you're getting just so much oil out of it, but it's not the bitter part at all.
Right.
So using that
just
all in dry
flavor.
And we found that honestly, this beer, it mellows out over time, and unlike other IPAs, you get oxidized flavors.
Right, yeah.
Hops,
which is why an IPA, you want to drink it as soon as it's, which I thought that was weird because you guys just let it sit for a couple weeks and let it mellow out. Whereas a lot of places where it's no, you want to drink this IPA as fresh as possible to get all that hot flavor from it.
Yeah, really, it mellows out and it actually just accentuates the flavor. And we found, so the beer, the first batch, we only sold it in-house. We didn't distribute it, can it, anything. And it was gone in about a month. And by about the 3rd to 4th weekend, that was when it was tasting its prime. It was just mellow, great tasting, but then it ran out, So,
but that was a learning experience.
Yeah, so now we're let's try to let it mellow for a week before we release it so that it won't be as bitter or aggressive. I carbonated it 2 days ago, so when we do that, we recirculate it at high speeds to carbonate it, and it just mixes all that hot matter back into it.
Oh, wow.
So as that falls out over time in the tank, or in the keg or whatever it's packaged in, it just becomes less abrasive, and you get a much softer, body to it,
rounded,
but more hop profile, and so it's still got the tropical backbone to it, but we added more Simcoe to it, so it actually has a more dank, pungent aroma to it as well. So
it certainly does. Yes.
And with that recirculation, is that something you can do on site, or do you have to send it somewhere?
Oh no, we do it on site.
You
guys pretty much do everything here.
Everything is done here and on draft. So and the cool thing about that, our canning line, we do the 3 beers down south. So that's
3.
Just the 3
beers,
right now on the canning line. But up here we have 16 on tap at all times.
16 to 18.
How many tanks do you guys have?
Serving
total?
Tanks. We've got 8. 8 serving tanks.
Yeah, 8 total. 6 are attached to the bar.
Or 9 serving
9,
tanks. 6 are attached to the taps at the bar. 3 are external, so we have to keg those up.
Right.
So we've got, but we have the ability to do 18 beers on tap.
Okay.
And we have a lot of barrel-aged beer, too.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Okay. So Matt from the Beer Museum, he wanted me to ask you, Kevin, when are you going to get those tanks from the South location moved up here?
Hopefully never.
Well, not to get into, I don't know, maybe you probably don't have anything to do with this, but are there plans to reopen the South location at some point? I know there's a lot of construction there, and it's a headache to get there, and it's just really impeding doing business, really. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the plan is, to be honest. They're still they've still worked out an agreement to brew there on location, even though the brew pub is shut down.
Okay, so you're still brewing there?
Yes, yeah, they're still brewing and packaging there.
That makes sense. Because I think that was one of the questions we had, because people had driven by and the sign.
Oh yeah, people are still going there sometimes, and it's closed.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because I think when we looked it up on
Google
Maps,
still says it. Google says it's still open.
Yes,
really,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because
Joel was like, "Are we meeting at the north location or the south?"
Which I thought we discussed, but I guess we didn't. I don't know.
We never did.
Yeah. So there's a few options that are kind of being floated around right now. One is that we get a warehouse somewhere with cheap rent, move all the equipment over there, and that becomes our packaging facility for both keg and for canning. The other option is there might be somebody who's willing to come into that location, and take over the restaurant operation and still allow the brewery to brew there. Mm-hmm. And then I guess the third option is that somebody buys the entire thing as is, outright, brewery equipment included. Okay. And in that case, we would probably be forced to contract brew somewhere.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So those are kind of the three options at this point. And we're not really sure which way it's going to go.
It sounds to me like, because you guys have a lot of knowledge about the process, and it sounds like you take a lot of time and dedication to make it right.
Wait. So, they know about brewing? Is that what?
So it sounds to me that you'd like to have that control. Like you'd be able to, you wouldn't want a contract. It sounds like you'd want to.
I would think that it would definitely be beneficial if we could be in control of our own.
Be
product.
there the whole time. That it's
from grain to glass or from grain to packaging.
I like that, grain to glass.
Yeah.
Grain to glass.
Is that a saying in the?
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of, I think we need some more beers over here. Huh?
We might. So, but to be clear to everybody listening, you come to the north location for the 420 to get your Dank Sinatra on.
True. 420 is a Saturday. Is that right?
It is a Saturday.
Okay,
Saturday. Yeah. Saturday before Easter.
So we gotta get this edited or out before that.
Ross will not be sleeping this week.
I don't think so. Probably not. But yeah,
that's why you'll need that CBD oil.
Oh man, yeah.
I think that's the opposite.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Dave,
keep me relaxed.
It kind of elevated you, didn't it?
Oh yeah. So I was just driving home, and I don't know. I just felt really good, and then I started doing yard work, and
there you go.
Happy.
It's that house music.
I think that's Clint right now. Clint has all the energy for.
He's tweaking. He's tweaking. Maybe it's your body chemistry, how your brain is wired, because there's Ritalin that'll calm down kids, and then some kids that are calm, it'll just boost them up. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
we'll see.
Who knows?
We'll see.
All right, so we are on for the audience, we are on our third beer. If you haven't been able to tell.
I went back to the blueberry for this one. I did a little bit more experimentation with the oil, and
what do you think?
It's still more bitter. I feel like the blueberry is not as well pronounced as the watermelon, which you can get a little bit of the blueberry, but I feel like it once again accentuates the bitterness of it.
So you think the blueberry? All right, so
the blueberry fruit is not as prominent as the watermelon.
Yeah,
but it's like I feel like the watermelon almost cuts through the bitterness a little bit more than the blueberry, which isn't that surprising to me. I don't know why, because blueberries are typically heavier than watermelon flavor, but between the two, I definitely prefer the watermelon, but I really want to like this blueberry.
Is it blueberry?
You want to like it.
I want to like this blueberry.
So do you find the blueberry does make it more bitter versus the watermelon?
The oil makes it more bitter.
Yeah.
It's all. I don't know if it's just because the blueberry flavoring is not as prominent, or if it just doesn't complement the CBD oil as well.
Does it taste like it's on top of it, as opposed to consistently through it?
I did the watermelon all 3 times because I'm worried about killing Joel. And
sitting right next to it, man. You can't,
I still
have
think
blueberries on your breath.
I know. I find that it seems to just cut the bitterness of the beer without for me.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what element that is, but
yeah, I'm with you. I think it makes it more consistent.
It's wonderful for me. So
and it works especially when you think about like how we started the episode, like in terms of our flavor profiles. Like when somebody tells me try this IPA, immediately my mind goes to this like, man, this is going to be overly hoppy.
Tastes like resin.
Exactly. But this, if you handed me it and I drank it, you can taste the hops, but it's not like a linger. It's not like that. Like
I agree. Well done, guys. Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. I actually put the CBD oil in first to try to incorporate it better into the beer.
So you're saying pour it into the glass, and then when you pour the beer, it look at that big brain on Ross.
Well, that's just basic home brewing stuff. I mean,
so are you telling me Ross
fruit in first so it incorporates?
Are you telling me I need to go 4 beers in to get that done?
Yeah, no. I did say that. I think.
Yeah, that was kind of the reason we went with the watermelon in the very first place. We just felt like it lended itself better to the flavor profile. Right. And the blueberry was good, but it just kind of had a perception that I could sense. It wasn't it wasn't really like a flavor. It was more of it was almost like a mouthfeel difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you say umami?
I wouldn't. It adds this like full. Like,
that's actually
savory.
David's catchphphrase. It's just umami.
Yeah. Well, you're talking to Flava Dave, right?
There we go.
Flava Dave.
Hashtag Flava Dave.
Yeah, we potentially had to pick nicknames for this can wrap, and so Kevin, he's Snowman over there, and
nice.
I had to go with my original nickname in the brewing industry, Flava Dave. I threw in I did a collaboration up in Muskoka Brewing up in Canada, up in Bricebridge, and the only thing I did for an entire weekend besides drink beer up there was throw in flavor hops. And so I just was like, well, I'm just Flava Dave at that point.
Flava Dave.
So here's a question.
Another question.
This is round 2. Where do you go from here? Like if you were experimenting past here, what do you do? Do you go
heroin?
Joel likes to drop the nuclear option, but
you're just gonna have a drip bag, and you're just gonna come in. You're gonna plug it in. And
it's not heroin though. It's just Sour Patch Kids.
It's actually a callback.
You're mainlining Sour Patch Kids.
I don't know. This is as far as the recipe of the base beer, or as far as like the whole 420 CBD thing.
Flavors,
as far as the recipe of the base beer, like
absolutely.
Like, do you think you could make it more dank? Do you think this is where you want it? What are you thinking?
Because I know you said before with like the fruit pairings, and that seems like the logical next step. But is there anything like, man, if I was making this for me, this is what I would add in? Versus a target audience.
Come on, Flava Dave.
I mean, honestly, this is to me.
Flavor
I think
Dave.
we're gonna give it 2-3 weeks, see how that's at. But for the type of hops that we have in there, we could switch them up around here and there, move them around in the whole process. But I really love this beer how it is, and that's what we kind of do here is we brew our beer just how Kevin and I kind of want it to taste. Like, I mean, we
brew what we want to drink.
We like lagers,
There
we
you
like
go.
hoppy beers, we like darker beers, but it is getting hot out here in Texas, so we're kind of focusing more on let's just see how we can play with hops. That's why we have right now the Dude Where's My Scooter. We have this one. We have Zombie Dragon, which we both love, and then there's we have a double IPA coming out here in a week or two, which that'll be they're all hazies pretty much besides the Zombie Dragon, but I mean should set you up for summer if you want to go big or
go big or go home.
8% and higher, or a nice 5.5 session. But all hops, that's
getting
like I
for
said,
those summer months.
I like IPAs, but I'm not trying to get dragged down with too many big beers. But some people strictly like 8%ers.
No.
Do you like to brew what you drink most oftentimes?
Yeah,
that sounds like it.
It's kind of also we have to sort of cater to our core audience, and our regulars. So
it's always whatever the market dictates.
Exactly.
Really.
So there are some beers that we cannot get rid of. Our Duckabush Amber, that's like a staple that we'll always have on tap. our blackjack. There's a few beers that we will always have on tap that I don't necessarily drink that much, but they are good beers. But the interesting thing is we used to have like one rotating IPA at a time. Now I'm finding that more than often we have 3, 4, and maybe even 5 IPAs if you include like fruited versions of it.
It's a damn shame.
Now it's almost like everything else is kind of getting pushed to the back, and IPAs are sort of taking over the beer menu.
Yeah.
So in fact, the other day I was looking at all our tanks, and in our fermenters, we've got 5 fermenters, and out of those 5 fermenters, 4 were full of IPAs.
Wow. Is that because of all the hipsters that are up here?
It just seems to be-
It's what the market is currently the market is currently demanding IPAs.
It's so hot right now.
really is.
Yeah,
It's so hot right now.
It's so hot right now.
We call it so hot right now, and then that
So hop right now.
Yeah, I mean, and so the market is pretty much demanding that brewers make a lot of IPAs because that is what is going to draw business, and that's what like turns really quickly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, at least you get them out of those fermenters pretty fast.
About Dank Sinatra, is it going to be in both blueberry and watermelon flavor, or just
No,
one?
just the watermelon.
Just the watermelon.
Okay, cool.
But
Good choice.
SunUp CBD will be here with their
Variety,
table,
yep.
and the idea of dropping, the idea of dropping a little drop in your glass and then pouring the beer on top of that. That's not out of the question. I mean,
sure,
There you go.
something we could do.
I think it's going to be a cool social experiment. Like to see how friendly people are with the servers and stuff. Because like I right now I feel so at ease.
With all this CBD oil, this is like the fewest complaints we've ever gotten on a day.
I need to put it in every
Sales
beer.
are way up.
There you go. Those pizza rolls went fast.
A lot of people are saying "dude" for some reason.
So is there so as far as beers that are not your own are concerned, let's
Here we
get
go.
into it. We asked this question of everybody, all brewers we talk to. What is the big 3 sort of
The macro
beer
breweries.
that you have in your fridge right now? Like Bud Light, Miller Lite, Coors Light, or a derivative of those. Miller High Life is one we get a lot. Or do you just stay away from the big guys completely?
I typically stay away. I mean, I'm trying to think of what's in my fridge right now. It's all Central Texas craft beer. I mean, I've got some ABW.
Live Oak's probably in there.
Might have some real. I think the most mainstream
Hans
beer I
Pils.
probably have is a Lindemann's Framboise.
Oh.
Framboise.
No,
Hello.
Yeah.
Some would say it's good over ice cream.
Yeah. I think
I would not.
Do you guys?
I take that back. My wife just
Here we
bought
go.
a 6-pack of Left Hand Milk Stout.
Oh,
So that's probably the biggest
Wow.
brewery that I have.
Nitro or non-nitro?
Nitro.
Nice.
Yeah.
She's a big fan of the dark, the stouts.
That's why she married you.
Yep.
Dave?
Oh, no.
So I mean, I'm gonna go with champagne of beer. Some High Life.
Oh, there
High
we
Life,
go.
there it is.
We got
Living the high
We
life.
have gotten that
Back
that's
in the high life
that's like
again.
most of all of them. That's like the most common.
We've had
love
3
that.
other ones.
Old English. As,
Oh,
God.
God.
Have me some malt liquor, and then
What?
I will go
You brew
with-
beer?
That's a surprising
And
one.
then we're gonna go with let's go. Honestly, I drink a lot of Lone Star down here.
Yeah, okay.
Lone Stars. Hey,
Yeah,
Lone
malt
Star's
liquor,
perfectly
yeah.
acceptable.
The
You gotta
Yingling of
remember.
the South. The Yingling of the South.
But yeah.
Not a lot of
Is that
people drink
what-
malt liquor.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to do, but that's what got me into beer was a
Yeah,
nice
malt
40
liquor.
old English.
Nice.
So that was my
Cold
first.
45.
That was my first drinking experience.
Yep,
there was
exactly.
Old English. There was Mad Dog,
And then you never drank again.
Steel Reserve. Yeah, that's my brother's
man.
favorite. But still, he loves that stuff. But there was these videos on YouTube where they took sommeliers and had them blind taste test beers. But it was like random beers and then some like malt liquors. And like when you didn't tell them what it was, they were like, "Oh my goodness, these malt liquors, they have so many flavors. They're so complex." And they start doing all their sommelier bullshit with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like,
Exactly,
oh,
bullshit.
All I know is finish your 40 before you get it gets too warm.
yeah.
But besides that, I mean, that just shows how little I have that in my fridge. But I will go with champagne. That High Life.
That's
That
why you
highlights
don't
it.
play Edward 40
gotta-
I was about to ask, have you played that?
Oh, Edward 40. Oh
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's
Couple Mickey stickies, and just duct tape.
Yeah,
There's no winners.
No.
Yep.
Somebody's got to unzip my pants right now.
All right. We got a winner.
Whoa, I don't want to be at that party.
Nice. Yeah. So yeah, High Life is definitely one of the more common answers we have.
I think
gotten.
Mike O'Connor, he said,
Yep.
From Live Oak,
Live Oak, their social media guy.
Yep. And then there were like 2 or 3 others that we've interviewed.
I think so.
Yep.
Oh, and MGD, we got that from
Yeah.
Brandon Radicke at Independence. We're counting that as Miller High Life.
Well,
Yeah.
Miller High Life
Sort
and
of.
MGD were probably my go-to back in high school, college.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Like when you talk about like that was what I drank in college. Like
Yeah.
there's some callbacks to that. Like, man, for me, Ziegenbach. It was
Oh,
the
man.
cheapest keg over by campus. So like you could get a keg for like I think it was like $49.
It was
Like,
still
not
pretty
bad at
good.
all.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it was a heavy beer, and we never really finished the keg. Like it was
Oh,
like
man.
you drank as much as you wanted to, and then people are like,
All right, man, that's all you.
Let me go to a
Yeah.
party where they have some light beer.
"Oh yeah, yeah."
But Ziegenbach today, not all that great. I don't know.
Well, we're kind of blessed here in Austin where there are so many options, especially if you are just targeting like the craft local scene. It's going to be interesting for you guys specifically once the MLS stadium opens.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of people are going to be pre-gaming
Soccer
here
specials.
and over in like the other ones off of like Metric, because like drinking and soccer just go hand in hand.
Because you have to drink to get to that game.
Drinking and
Like,
sports.
You
goes
have to
hand
drink
in
to
hand.
like it.
Sport.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, I need a beer. Pass it or something. Where's the goal? There's no scoring. Anyway, no. Shout out to Austin Anthem,
Yeah, Austin Anthem.
which they probably don't listen. I don't know, but
No, we told them about it. We, the royal we.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So they probably don't actually listen.
Once again,
Speaking of sports, I am actually
Sports?
about to go down to San
Bills.
Antonio
Yeah.
to go in a rally car drifting.
What?
race.
Wait,
it's in
wait,
San
which-
Antonio.
Where are they doing rally at?
I am not too sure exactly.
Is that
but
out of Marion Speedway?
It possibly is.
Yeah.
but
That sounds about
so,
right.
Yeah.
I have a friend. He is going to be drifting, so I actually need to roll out here pretty soon.
Oh.
Roll out.
Yeah, exactly.
we can definitely.
Wait, so you're not going to be in the car?
I am going to be in the car.
Wait, passenger, though.
So-
yeah,
Passenger or driver?
passenger
he said-
with the helmet while my friend drives and drifts.
Wait,
Have you done that before?
I have not, but yeah. So this is
Wouldn't-
we are actually up.
It's a good thing you just had some CBD oils.
I am so excited. About this.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wouldn't it be better to be the passenger?
Say, man, can I turn on the radio? You should slow down. Why we gotta keep going in circles? Can I put my feet out the window? Man, you really like Tide.
So, most important question of the podcast before you jet:
Yeah.
The Fifth Element. Is it a good movie, or is it a bad movie that's fun to watch?
I will go with a good movie.
You shut your goddamn mouth.
And because of the artistic creativity.
Oh yeah.
Enjoy your drifting.
I will.
Oh, man.
You drifter, you drifter.
All right, take it.
Bye.
We still have a question for
Kevin.
Kevin.
Please.
I'd say bad movie, fun to watch.
Yes.
I think that's. I mean,
Fuck you, Clint.
it's one of those movies that if it's on, I'll
You're not
watch
gonna.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Watch
not
it,
like-
but you're not gonna like. Hey, I want to watch The Fifth Element today.
Yeah.
Why
I don't
not?
own it. I'll give you that. I own quite a
Well,
bit
it's on
of DVDs
Netflix
and I
now,
don't own
so there you
What's
go.
your general impression of Bruce Willis movies?
that. I like Bruce Willis movies.
Generally positive, yeah.
Generally positive.
Okay.
Would you consider Die Hard a Christmas movie?
that should be our other
We're
question.
branching
Yeah,
off on
that
the
is a
question.
good question.
There's only
Wait. That's a good question.
It was a random question.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It comes up at my work.
there's only
Yeah,
one answer to that.
people ask it.
There's only one answer.
I have a 6-year-old, so it's not something I would watch with her.
Right. I agree.
Right.
Home Alone or something like that. Those are more
Yeah.
Christmas themed movies. The Grinch, but given that, I would watch that after she's asleep.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so if you consider Die Hard a Christmas movie, then you'd have to consider Lethal Weapon also a Christmas movie.
Oh man, you're right. Yeah.
So how come nobody ever brings that up?
Yeah.
It's because
Oh, and they're
we
both
talk
in
about-
LA.
Well, we
and so-
talk about
I don't know.
The Fifth Element.
Yeah.
whether it's good or not.
That's
So
not a Christmas movie.
I'm
That's
just
not-
saying that Bruce Willis is the.
You can enjoy it
the logical
year-round.
jump, but
I got you.
But Lethal Weapon, no, also a Christmas movie. I would consider. Yes,
because it takes place around Christmas time. Yes, that's all that's required.
Home Alone. Home Alone. Same example.
Home Alone is absolutely
the motivation for
the same exact principle.
No, they
there are terrorists.
You could put
and he's
that
fighting off the terrorists.
You could put that literally in Spring Break. You could do the same thing during Spring Break. It's the same movie.
No, because he doesn't have the ornaments to put as one of the traps.
Seashells. I don't fucking know.
You know, before Lethal Weapon, I never thought there could be a bomb on my toilet. And now I check every time. So,
well, I'm just waiting on y'all to finish.
Clint throwing on the gauntlet.
So I'll go ahead and give my final reactions. The flavor profile of this is very pleasant.
Pleasant. That's what we're going for, right?
Yeah. The CBD oil definitely cuts through some of the bitterness for me, especially adding in the Sour Patch.
You went watermelon all the time.
I went watermelon all the time. Yeah. I did not try the blueberry. So my recommendation for anybody who is hesitant to try any kind of IPA, give this a shot with the CBD
or any
oil.
Kind of if you're hesitant to try CBD oil, try it in a beer.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, I would say I enjoyed this with just the beer. I enjoyed it with. Oh, sorry,
Clint. Where you?
Oh, I'm good. Yeah, no, that sums it up.
Did you rate it?
Oh, it's a 1.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I would have it again
IPA
for sure.
For Clint.
For everybody out there that hasn't listened before, what's your fucking problem? No, but we operate on the binary scale. It's either you'll drink it or you won't. So it's either a 1 or a 0.
And
Clint?
I've had a lot of zeros. So
yes, he has.
This is
mostly IPAs.
Mostly IPAs, but this is a IPA that is a 1.
There you go. Wait, is it a 1 without the CBD or?
Yeah,
I don't think it was.
I don't think it was.
You probably
wouldn't
order it.
I probably would not order it by itself,
just by it being an IPA.
But
if there's a pitcher in the middle of the table, you're gonna.
Well, it's not even how you're gonna get it. You're gonna get it with the CBD
without the CBD oil. Without
the CBD.
Cutting. No, because again, my flavor profile, I just don't appreciate the bitterness.
No, I understand.
So I would go with.
But if there's a pitcher in the middle of the table, no, you'd still go out of your way to order something else.
Well, I think that's what
you tell me it's an IPA sitting in the middle of the table. I'm going to be
no, I understand.
You're going to go Zombie Dragon. You're going to go
Zombie Dragon's another IPA. I'd go with the Zeppelin or
Jingo.
Something else. Or
something
Zombie Dragon with mango. Something to cut away the bitterness for me.
Mango Zombie Dragon. Yeah.
Mango Zombie Dragon was also good.
It haunts my dreams. Anyway, so Tony, you were
go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I'm normally not a fan of IPAs, just like Clint. I like this beer on its own. I liked it with the oil and the candy. I'm curious to see how it's going to be with the watermelon juice in it.
Yeah, incorporated into the
If I liked it already, I'm curious what other level that's going to put into it.
Or Saturday, just the fact that it ages a little.
I guess.
Absolutely.
Ages a little bit more. And like David was saying, like that mellows it out. Yeah. So that would be appealing to me as well.
Right.
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, we're only on day 2 of it being carbonated.
Yeah.
And we definitely noticed a big change after a week on the original one.
Awesome.
So I think just giving it a little bit of extra time, I think it'll that bitterness will subside a little bit and some of the fruit kind of forward and dank.
For the hardcore IPA drinkers though, isn't that kind of like inverse of what they would be
looking
Don't they
for?
Want
they more want of the dank?
They want I say hardcore. People who really love that West Coast style, would be looking for that punch you in the face bitter hopness, right?
True, yeah. But in a New England style IPA, I think it's people are more looking for less bitter, more
fruit forward kind of stuff,
more malt forward,
yeah.
Right.
So when we're looking for these in the can, would we have to come next week on 420?
On 420.
We'll have that can release on 420, and obviously we'll do everything at 4:20 p.m.
Right. So we have to come after 4:20 p.m. Okay. No. I
probably have to be here.
I didn't know that before. Well, okay.
Seated. You have to be seated before.
Yeah, there you go.
I got it.
But yeah, we'll have a limited can run, and those will be all available just here at North by Northwest.
But will you be serving the beer like all day or not until?
Yeah, we'll tap the cask at 420. The base beer itself will be on tap all day, and then from then on till
the CBD.
Till it's gone.
Cool.
But the CBD version and we've also got we didn't talk about this much, but we also have a second cask. So we'll have dueling casks. We have the CBD version.
Oh, and then
we also
the
have a non-CBD version.
Right.
That's got Cryo Galaxy and Columbus hops.
Oh, shit.
So that'll be, for the hop heads.
I'm a Galaxy person, all the way, really.
I like the Galaxy.
Is that like the Mountain Bowl? We're going to have two competing forces?
Shit. Right.
Awesome.
I'm probably gonna want Galaxy in the CBD oil cask, but anyway, I'll have to just
Ross
order both.
just wants it all.
I'll probably
order both and mix them.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to mix them in the glass.
He's like, I'm gonna get 2 beers and an extra glass.
Wait, do you mix the casks?
Get your hoppy cask, take it over to the SunUp CBD
there you go.
Table and
yeah, exactly. They might have something a different flavor, like a mango or something. I don't know.
Oh man,
we'll see.
I'm just trying to think of what a mango would taste like. Ooh,
okay.
Yeah.
I know.
Dream.
I know Clint's going to be out of town,
pending.
But you guys, we got to come down here Saturday.
What do you mean by you guys?
I may be out of town.
Use guys.
Use guys.
I may be down the road. I may be out of town.
Son of a bitch.
So Tony.
Anyway,
so Ross by himself. Okay.
I'll be here. I'll dedicate myself to you, Ross.
Okay, cool.
I actually initially thought we were recording on 420, so I had blocked that off. So I think it might be free.
Nice. Okay, cool. So I'm 3.5.
I'm sorry. 3.5?
Yeah, this is my fourth.
Okay.
And then I put some extra CBD oil in it. So, but this is pretty great. It's a good fruit forward hoppy IPA. I don't know, this versus the Zombie Dragon is what I was really doing like the whole maybe not the whole time, but I was thinking, is this better? I think it is, especially with the CBD oil. On the nose, you get a lot of the watermelon on the nose.
So you're saying for like the complexity, you would choose this over Zombie Dragon?
Just the fruit pairs really well with the beer.
So when you show up next week, of course, because it's a special event, you choose this.
Well, if SunUp is there and I want to try,
could you do
if I want to try a different flavor? Yeah, if I want to try a different flavor, a whole dropper full of something else. I don't know,
like mango, or
it depends what they have.
Well, maybe we should ask Kevin, the brewer, what we should mix with that. If anything.
Well, I mean, it's personal preference.
It seems
really,
like watermelon
right?
is like a solid pick, and that's what they
right, and that's why you went with. Well, you had a limited choice, but watermelon paired really well with this. Like,
I think they also have a non-flavored version too.
So I would think they
just
would.
The straight CBD oil.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, this is definitely for me with the watermelon, and I don't generally like watermelon. It's not my thing, but with the watermelon, it's really
everything works.
It's really good. It works really well. And the Sour Patch, the watermelon Sour Patch Kid.
Well, I mean,
everything is good with that. I guess. Well, maybe not pizza rolls. I don't know, but. We'll see. We'll see Saturday, but
are we getting pizza rolls Saturday?
There are pizza rolls.
There will be pizza rolls.
Let's put the watermelon into the pizza roll. See what we think.
It melted on top. Can we get like?
He's a pineapple on pizza kind of guy.
If you're gonna put a fruit on a pizza, it better be pineapple.
I'm not. I was just
cherry tomatoes. So I'm a 1, definitely. So yeah.
I really wanted to like the blueberry. I don't know. Once again, I feel like the blueberry wasn't as prominent.
Exactly. I didn't get a lot of the blueberry flavor
on the nose. Like just from the nose, you get a lot more watermelon from the watermelon CBD. I tried a whole bunch of experiments just sitting here. Like I did it with the blueberry.
Right.
I did it with the blueberry and the Sour Patch Kid. I did the watermelon without the Sour Patch Kid with the Sour Patch Kid.
Did you do it
the last one I did watermelon and blueberry together.
I don't think I did.
Did you do it with just the Sour Patch Kid?
I did not just do it with the Sour Patch Kid.
How was the watermelon and blueberry mixed together?
Good.
I'm gonna see.
I would say that was the second best. I think the watermelon just by itself was the best.
Yeah.
It's like, because once again, I don't think there's enough blueberry in the CBD oil, because I feel like the bitterness really kind of overpowers everything. You get a little bit of the blueberry on the finish.
Are you saying the blueberry is just too subtle, or
the blueberry is too subtle? It's like that's my one drawback to the blueberry. It's if the blueberry was a little more prominent, and I think it's because it lends itself to the acidic side of the hops.
Maybe, yeah.
That's kind of what we felt. It seemed like it amplified the bitterness, which is already at a level that I think
it's pretty high.
Yeah, it is pretty high for a New England IPA.
But it didn't cut through like the watermelon did, which I feel is just more juicier, and so that kind of lowers it a little bit.
Exactly.
Or just has that appearance of being juicier, and so it cuts through the bitterness a little bit. My favorite was the watermelon with the Sour Patch Kid.
Right.
So I think you guys made a fantastic choice there.
Can you imagine the watermelon with the watermelon puree or the watermelon juice?
I think it would make it better.
Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. I think
it's a one solid throughout. I think almost if you added like the blueberry juice that you would use if you were going to do the blueberry, I feel like that would cut through it a little bit more, because I just don't think the blueberry is as prominent on there.
Yeah. But See, what I'm thinking is the watermelon isn't like, it's not taking over, it's not prevalent, but it's just a bit stronger
flavor
in the flavor, but it's not like the Hitler of fruits where it just takes over and it's all watermelon. But
is that the joke you want to use?
I don't know. Probably
not.
So
is that concentrated juice?
Oh, now we have to leave it in.
Too soon, Tony. Too soon.
Me, not Ross. Me.
But
you encouraged
the watermelon is just strong enough that it doesn't completely overtake it and just make it taste like a watermelon beer.
Yeah,
it's just like a complement to the beer.
But would you say that adding watermelon juice would?
I think it would be bring up the flavor. Yeah, further accentuate
while also kind of cutting the bitterness.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It would just add. I think it would just add to it.
Those cask conditioned, is that going to lower the ABV with the juice?
With the juice, it might. We added a half a gallon of juice for a little over 5 gallons of beer. Okay. But at the same time, you're actually going through a secondary fermentation.
Right.
So that will raise the ABV.
Yeah, because it's going to eat up all those sugars.
So it might kind of equal out. I bet if we had it tested, it would be very similar to the base beer.
Yeah, and I was forgetting that you only have a 5-gallon cask of this.
Yeah.
So you got to be here. You got to be seated at 420.
Yeah, get here at 4.
Yeah.
Be ready for 420.
Yeah.
Now, are there any specific menu pairings that you'd say, like, get this with your beer?
Pizza rolls.
Pizza rolls, get brownies for dessert.
Mozzarella sticks. Just mozzarella sticks for the entree.
You can tap your own watermelon, just bring it, and just like cork it.
I gotta be honest, I'm so excited about pizza rolls.
I couldn't even think of last time I had a pizza roll.
Yeah, we do pizza all the time, and occasionally they'll do calzone. But
bachelor party 2 years ago,
but
probably.
Never had pizza rolls, and I'm really excited about that.
I just did a small pour with the blueberry, and I agree, the watermelon just comes out more in flavor profile, and helps cut the bitterness a little bit more.
I see that
overall. So
yeah, that was our general impression when we started playing around with these two. Okay. And then once we decided on that, we're like, okay, well, let's see what else is out there that has watermelon in it.
Okay.
That's where we came across the Sour Patch Kids.
Okay, so
that's what I've always loved about the. I'm going back to what I said earlier, but it's all like it's like the East Coast IPAs lend themselves to being able to be fruited much more easy. Like just you can add juice like to almost any of them, whereas the West Coast, if you like pine, if you like just super hoppy, like that's your thing, you can't really fruit those as much.
Yeah.
But the East Coast, they lend themselves to being to those citrus fruits, to those just fruit in general almost.
Or lactose even. You have your milkshake IPAs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only West Coast style that we've found that mixes really good with fruit is we did our Kodiak IPA, which has got Citra and Amarillo in it, and we mixed that with some fresh grapefruit and grapefruit juice.
And the Citra hops.
And
really
and that really came out nice. And but the secret was using fresh whole grapefruits. Like we tried it with grapefruit puree, just juice. It just didn't quite come out the same as using Ruby Red, Texas fresh grapefruits.
For Kevin's sake, patent pending. Secret. That was a secret. That was a secret.
We're actually that's in the fermenter right now.
Oh, nice.
Kodiak. So we'll have some of that coming out soon.
Nice.
The grapefruit version.
Always
There's
ruby
something
red.
about those ruby red Texas grapefruits.
Yeah,
They're so
Texas
good whenever
grown.
they come.
Yeah. Because they're grown in Texas.
I think
Which is why we should use Fredericksburg peaches in our next batch of the peach wheat.
Well, we got to get them when they're ripe.
Davis is all about that hyper local.
Yeah, absolutely. Joel, final thoughts.
There
Joel.
you go.
Joel
Berg.
So we went from a beer that was what I would call the worst beer we've had on the podcast.
What?
Yes.
Whoa!
On
yesterday,
What was that one?
What?
Yeah.
That was the silly
Silly
Goza.
Goza.
Oh,
Yeah.
He hated the silly Goza.
Probably
from
what is the
Community.
best beer I think I've had on the podcast.
This?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
just clarify.
Wow.
Like, there you go. All right.
Oh, what were you starting to be like? Oh, this is the second
No,
worst.
well, like you came in and you're like, we had the worst beer on the podcast. And
Yeah.
it's like you're not being specific
Joel,
enough.
he's still here.
This
What
is
direction
Joel,
could this go in?
Joel, this is
I
coming
knew you
out.
were-
This is coming out before the Goza episode.
Yeah, it is.
So.
I knew you were trouble when you walked
Anyway.
in.
well,
Anyway,
I didn't want to specify what beer
silly,
was, but
silly
you guys want to get
Goza
into it.
by
yeah.
Community. Joel did not appreciate it. All right, this
Whatever that comes
Anyway,
the
okay.
Dank Sinatra by Northwest. Joel really
Yeah,
enjoys.
So
Okay.
this is probably the best beer I've had on the podcast. When we add the CBD oil, I was with Clint, like it cut the bitterness like 90%. And you can immediately taste the difference, even if you didn't swirl it too much. And it just insinuated the fruit flavor, I guess, kind of added the watermelon flavor, if you will.
And typically, do you like IPAs?
I'm on the fence, but I don't like the East Coast, West Coast IPAs, like the extreme fruity versions of it.
But you do you like pale ales more than your IPAs? Or?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
So this one with the fruit flavor, God damn it, it's like a perfect pairing. Like just, I don't know if you experimented at all with other flavors or fruits, but this, you nailed it. Like,
Well, the mango before.
oh, okay, the mango.
No,
yeah.
the blueberry.
That was
in
the zombie dragon.
Zombie dragon.
Oh,
yeah,
gotcha,
mango.
gotcha.
But the blueberry that they
There's
got,
only 2 flavors available. So
Yeah, with the CBD, we were just limited to
Oh, okay.
the
So-
watermelon.
so blueberry versus watermelon, and they chose which it just seems to really have worked out.
So out of curiosity, did you work backwards or forward with that? Did you know, okay, we're starting out with watermelon CBD, so we got to like consider that?
No, they
Or
didn't.
did you kinda-
No.
No, it was kind of it kind of presented itself as an option. You know, I mean, we
just by the 2 options that SunUp SunUp
Yeah.
gave them, right?
yeah. So originally we were
SunUp
thinking of trying to
CBD oil.
get like some sort of terpenes, but after we realized that was a little bit of a gray legal area. So
Right,
then we decided to kind of go with CBD oils, and at that point, Albert, our
operations manager.
operations manager, reached out to a local company and
Oh, cool.
SunUp CBD, and they decided to partner with us and gave us these. They were generous enough to give us these samples to experiment around with. So, given the 2, the watermelon was definitely the winner.
Nice.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it cuts through that bitterness and makes it so drinkable, that
yeah.
it's.
So you would say it's a 1?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think it's the best beer we've had on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kevin, how do you feel? 1 or 0?
Kevin's like, oh, this is a 0, guys. I don't know what the fuck y'all are talking about.
David's gone. Fuck Dave. Like this.
on a scale of
Flavor Day.
on a scale of Zombie Dragon to Red Zeppelin.
Oh, definitely beyond the wall.
Oh, there we go.
Clint doesn't get that reference.
No,
Cutter barely gets it.
I don't know what y'all are talking.
So there's a
about.
dragon that cuts through the wall.
No.
I don't know.
So, but what's your favorite North by Northwest beer to drink and to make? Is it different or?
There's some beers that are great to drink, but a pain in the ass to make.
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
put it
I
that
can
way.
understand.
So like our sours, the Barton Creek.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
It's one of our best beers ever, but it's so labor intensive and so time intensive and so real estate intensive. I mean,
That's a kettle sour.
No, it's actually a
or is it
barrel
sour?
So
Okay.
it takes 2 years to sit in a barrel before it's even ready to
So,
consider.
but you said the barrels are all around the restaurant, or
Yeah, we've got some inside the restaurant.
Yeah, most of the ones that are in there, like they're they've got stuff in them that are aging.
Yeah, there's a couple that you'll see on the way through the restaurant. There's one by the private dining room, and there's one by the front door.
Okay.
But we've also got a climate-controlled little room that's about the size of a big walk-in closet.
Yeah.
And we've got about 10 barrels in there.
Wow, okay.
10 wine barrels.
And the ones in the dining room actually have something in it whenever you come in.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, I didn't think about that.
That's cool.
So that's your least fun to make.
That's the least fun to make, but also probably one of my favorite to drink.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Because it's a labor of love.
It is. It takes so much time and effort to make that beer, and then there's so little quantity.
Right.
It's the cutter of beers, you're saying? It's like, we have to have so much patience.
There's not a lot of quantity to cutter,
but I also like, probably one of my favorite styles of beers to brew is something like this, where it's super heavily hopped, but late edition Whirlpool dry hop.
Right.
We're taking 20, 30 pounds and dumping it into the Whirlpool at a time on something like this.
I feel like IPAs lend themselves to a lot of experimentation. Yeah. Like, once again,
just different.
It's starting to develop into that. Yeah. There's so many hops, so many different ways you can incorporate the hops. It's like, and how much and how little and what style and this and that.
But it also sounds like you can cover it up too, right?
But that's what Dave was saying, is that you could like throw in some mosaic and just like cover up whatever deficiency you may perceive. But the IPA style in and of itself, that's where you're getting like the brute, the East Coast, the West Coast. You're getting a bunch of different styles derived from this initial style, and I think that's kind of what you're saying.
Yeah. So I feel like it's a very broad style, and then from the first iterations of it, it's developed quite a bit more, and that's why we're getting so many. It's like just overhopping everything.
Oh, yeah. When was the last time you had a true English style IPA?
It's been a while.
Well,
probably
Circle.
never for me.
Really?
No, you've had the Archetype.
Oh, the Archetype.
Circle.
I like that beer. That's
I love it. It's got a little bit of bread in it, and not bread, but Brett. Brettanomyces. Yeah.
You love fucking just saying that word, don't you?
Brettanomyces.
But no,
as long as it's not vinegar.
Yeah. But I did. The Archetype was,
because it's not your traditional IPA.
But it wasn't. But it's still it did have that sour and funkiness, but it still had that like bitterness that I'm just like,
because they were trying to make it seem like it was like on a journey from England to India. So
and back then they probably wouldn't have the greatest sanitation procedures.
And it was in the same barrel. They're not going to throw out a barrel. This is a good barrel. But it's probably infected a little bit, so you get that little funk, you get a little like zing, a little sourness to it.
You do have that in the Archetype, and that's good, but just that bitterness comes through at the end, and I'm just like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Dump it out. Pouring it out for my homies.
I would never dump it out.
It's still beer.
I would still drink it. Struggle through
slowly,
but I would never order it again.
Doppelblur.
Sorry, Circle, but your Doppelblur is great. Yeah. I will drink that all the time.
Canned.
Anyway, all right.
Yeah, so we've all had our 3. Yeah, we had a great time drinking the Dank Sinatra. Ones all around, except for Kevin. Or wait, no.
No. He was a 1.
Okay.
No, one's all around.
Yeah, one's all around.
In truth.
Dave's not here to defend himself. He absolutely hated his own beer.
Oh, yeah, he was like, I hate this. Why are you making me drink this? I have to drive in a rally car. Anyway. But yeah, one's all around.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often.
No. So we had a great time. Catch us anywhere you get your podcast, iTunes. Find us on Patreon.
Review us.
Come
5-star reviews.
Come visit North by Northwest.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes, most of all, most importantly, come visit North by Northwest on 420.
Especially
I'm hoping I'll be here. Tony might be.
Yes.
Joel will be here late.
I'll probably be here late also.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be here.
You work down the road.
Kevin
will be here on a weekend.
On a weekend, yeah.
Oh man. Okay, Kevin will be here. Dave, we don't know, but
he might be drifting. We don't know.
That's how he's going to get back here. He's going to be hitchhiking.
Yeah, he's going to drift back. He's got to drift there and drift back.
Yeah.
Anyway, we had a great time recording. This has been Ross.
This is Clint.
Joel's there.
He is.
Kevin.
This is Tony.
Cutter.
And this has been the podcast.
This is the podcast.
3 Beers In is a proud member of the Hopped Up Network. Thanks for sticking around. You can subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, Google Play, TuneIn, and on the hoppedupnetwork.com. If you like what you heard, rate and review us on iTunes. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at 3 Beers In Podcast, and check out our website, 3beersinpodcast.com. 3 beersinpodcast.com. You can find information about us and the show along with the links to all of our episodes and our really cool merchandise. While you're on our site, you can tell us what you like, what you don't like. And if you don't like us, then why the hell are you still here? You should have turned us off long ago. But if you're just going to listen to us anyway, then you should probably subscribe too. And if you would like a transcript of our podcast, write down everything that we just said.
I will say I have been to the kingdom and the emperor has no clothes.
This is Brew Crime, a craft beer and true crime podcast. I'm Mike.
And I am Beck, and we are your hosts.
On Brew Crime, we each take a true crime story and we pair it with a craft beer.
You can find our show on your favorite podcast apps. If you can't find it, contact us and we'll try to change that.
We can be found at www.brewcrime.com or on Twitter at brewcrime, and also on all the social media platforms for Pacific Beer Chat at Pacific Beer Chat. We can also be found at brewcrime at pacificbeerchat.com.
Join us as we discuss depraved killers, stupid criminals, and likely some completely unrelated tangents.
Cheers.
Cheers.